Hey. Taff and the out of this world story from our space. Are cheaters just in it for the free ride? The sex? The attention? What is it that they're missing? Are they missing anything at all, or just missing the ability to be a decent human being? Let's explore that today on our space. At first, what's so appealing about an a-hole? My boyfriend cheated on me with someone who looks like me. I, 22 female, got into a relationship at 17. We were both 17 at the time and both each other's first relationship. We had been speaking for a few months prior to getting together, and it felt right with him. He treated me well the first year of our relationship, but it went downhill after that. He started to display behaviors such as timing our phone calls. He said he does not want to speak for more than an hour, which I thought was weird because we used to speak for hours throughout the night. He had also told me multiple times that I would always be below him because I'm a woman, and that men were superior. He had also threatened that he would hit me if I ever did anything wrong. I felt like I was walking on eggshells around him. He stopped celebrating Valentine's Day because he said he felt that was a kid's thing and that we were grown up. He would ridicule me in front of his friends and would act like he did nothing wrong. There was one time where he downloaded an app, not sure what it was called, but he blatantly told me he was speaking to women on there. He got confused when I got upset because, to him, he wasn't doing anything wrong. He later deleted it, but he never apologized. I've suffered from depression and anxiety since I was 12, and he knew this. I would often speak to him about it, and he would just tell me to pray to God. I told him once crying on the phone that I self-harmed, and he refused to speak to me for a week because what I had done was a sin. I felt like crap the whole week and wasn't eating or drinking properly. Once the week was over, he asked me what I had learned. I felt like a child getting into trouble. Fast forward a year, and he told me he got a new job, which would have been year 3 into our relationship. He told me that he has a female coworker and that they really get along. I had even met her, and she was a very cold and distant person, not friendly, and gave off pick-me energy. So I knew that she didn't like me. Over the next few months, he started to get really distant. I barely saw him, and he left me unread all the time. When I asked him, he said he was talking to his coworker. I'll call her Dog for reference. He said that he had just met this dog, so was getting to know her. He continued to say I had changed and that I was different from before. Now looking back, I know I was still the same I had always been, affectionate towards him, but the way he spoke to me would make me feel like I was in the wrong all the time, and I found myself constantly apologizing and feeling crap. It got to the point where we would speak every 4 days. I didn't think this was normal in a relationship, but he kept telling me that it was. He also told me that I was allowed to have male friends because he trusts me. I'm not sure if this was his way of saying that I should trust him for him being friends with that girl. I kept on asking him about the girl, and he would cut the conversation short and would change it to something else. He had even cried to me and got on his knees for me to trust him because he felt that I was ruining everything and wanted me to stop asking me about her. I didn't know how to react. I spent months reassuring myself that nothing was going on, and he had told me that he only sees her as a friend. At some point, he admitted to me that she told him she has feelings for him. He said he blocked her from all social media and stopped talking to her, only to unblock her the next day because he felt bad for her. I got upset, but he said he doesn't understand where I'm coming from. I made friends with his aunt and we spoke often. One time, she told me that he thinks his friend looks like me. Same hair, same personality. He had said that she reminded him of me. His behavior went on for months. We went 1 week without speaking, and when he finally spoke to me, he said, "We will never work out." Things such as were from 2 different worlds. I sat there crying, and he didn't bat an eye. I kept asking what it was I had done wrong because I believed that it was my fault. He didn't say much, but told me to stop crying and to live my life. I couldn't pull myself together for months. We had a mutual friend, and he had told me that they were together, that he and the girl were together. I got so angry that I DM'd him from a fake Instagram account because he had blocked my number and everything. I basically told him I hate him and hope he goes to hell. A few days after, a random Instagram page had added me and sent me pictures of him and the girl together, which I assumed it was the girl behind it, and I got even more upset. Fast forward a few months later, and I finally stopped crying about what happened. A number that I did not recognize had called me and I picked up, and I heard his voice. He started apologizing to me and saying he made a mistake. He said he doesn't know what came over him. All of the anger I held for 4 years get the better of me, and I screamed into the phone telling him how he made me feel. How he made me feel stupid and I felt used. I spent hours constantly thinking there was something wrong with me. He belittled me all throughout our relationship, and I was stupid to not leave him. He made me feel that I was overreacting, made me very insecure and scolded me for having feelings. As if that wasn't enough, he had gotten his family to reach out to me and get me to forgive him. I told him I didn't want anything to do with him, And then he said, the next time that I get to see him will be at his funeral. I blocked him and other numbers he used to try to get in contact with me, and I also blocked his family. This all happened 1 year ago, and I think about it from time to time. I will never let a man treat me like that again. I have grown so much in the past year. I'm getting the help I need, and I'm learning to love myself. I just wanted to share my story. Let's see what the community thinks. Faithlessness No 9625 says, good lesson to carry through your adult years. You were abused, gaslighted, manipulated by a little boy though. Definitely not a man. And he didn't make a mistake either. He made choices. Turbulent Win 4236 says, I'm so glad you're doing better now. This was definitely an abusive relationship and it teaches us so much. Just left mine a month ago. Combination Call 9616 says, congratulations. You were lucky to dodge that bullet. Sometimes the relationships that we get into when we are young and turn toxic can be very difficult to get out of. It's great how you've managed to grow after being in such an emotionally abusive relationship. This guy sounds like a big piece of crap, OP. First of all, to tell you that he would actually be violent against you, that's absolutely not okay. And you don't deserve that at all. No one does. That's the ultimate deal breaker, and you should have left right after that. Then and there. It's never okay for someone to lay hands on you, or to even suggest that they would. That's not even funny to joke about. Not only that, but to tell you that he was speaking to other women when the two of you didn't discuss an open relationship. I'm sorry you stayed for as long as you did. What are your thoughts? Next up, the art of the chase. Boyfriend doesn't know his girlfriend has been thirsty for me and pursuing me for months. This is not a physical cheating story, simply because I have enough morals not to smash a chick who was bored, tired of her boyfriend, and has had a crush on me. I worked with this girl for the past 3 years and would flirt with her here and there because simply that's my personality. I flirt with other girls at work as well. She would not only be receptive to it, but go out of her way to flirt with me and literally have attention thirsts where she would seem desperate. She would constantly discreetly ask me if I'm single or if I'm seeing anyone. She would try to create situations where we would be alone with her for hours outside of work. She would offer only me a ride in her car when we would go to work events and no one else from our work friends group. She would get extremely jealous and needy when I would be chatting with other girls at work and not her. She would constantly tease me, find reasons to touch me. She would emotionally explode on me if I would do something for one girl and not her, like get breakfast for another girl and not her. Her boyfriend obviously doesn't know anything and will probably marry one day. When she meets a guy with less morals than me, she will definitely get piped down with her boyfriend not knowing. 2022 Random Dude says, respect for you, first of all. You're one of the good ones. As someone who got cheated on, I respect your decision and attitude a lot. Thanks, mate. Secondly, tell her boyfriend. If you would be in his place, you'd like to know about it as well. Thirdly, stay away from her and stop flirting, especially because you work together. Trust me, it's the best for you, and try not to have any situations in which you are alone together. Renegade Caveman says, I bring it to his attention. Make a fake profile or message the dude or anything, but he definitely needs to know what she's doing. Wasted in Paradise says, I'm going to warn you here. Chicks like this are usually bad effing news. You're her little plaything now, but she'll turn on you like a snake if you start to not progressively measure up to her expectations, or God forbid, do something she deems a betrayal, and her little jealousy antics involving your interactions with other female coworkers shows she's already taken possession of you, which means her betrayal bar may not be very high at all. Love turns to hate like a flip of a switch with these kinds of people, and they usually go to great lengths to make your life as miserable as possible when they become the enemy. Yikes. She clearly is not getting something out of her current relationship. She's desperately seeking attention, and you're definitely giving that to her. It's a bit weird for her to get mad at you like she is when you're not in a relationship. She's head over heels for you. It could totally be an insecurity thing too, since she gets upset when you're giving someone else attention. That's on her. She has to deal with her issues. Try and limit your interactions with her if you can, or this could totally blow up in your face at work. What would you do? Next, navigating a tough situation. Caught wife sexting again. Me 32, wife 28. Arranged marriage, India. I'm 32, male, wife 28. We've been married for almost 5 years. 2 years ago, I caught her sexting, video calls, pictures, gifts, with random guys from internet. That lasted for 6 months, June of 2020 to December of 2020. And she stopped it after getting caught. She told me it will not happen again and gave me the password to her phone. So I add my facial ID to her phone at that time, which she didn't know. She was diagnosed with personality disorder, March of 2021. started medications, and she's been doing very well, much better than even the start of the marriage. She is a stay-at-home wife. I have a business. Most of the problems in the marriage were due to her disorder and have now been sorted. On the 25th of October, I had a suspicion that she was hiding something in her phone, but the facial ID, I unlocked her phone. Using screen time and power consumption, I found out she was using the apps again, but deleting the apps and clearing chats. So I had to gain access to her Google Chat, which I have installed on my phone now to screenshot and screen record her chats. She was doing the same sex with random guys on the internet, including video calls, pictures, and dirty talk. I have evidence from 2020 and now, screenshots and screen recordings. We've tried having sex 3 or 4 times in the past 2 years. She keeps on saying it's painful, and I keep asking her what she wants to do, but there's never an answer. She keeps saying she wants to have kids as soon as her psychiatrist permits her. I believe the doctor would allow her now as her medications have reduced, and she is doing well. BS, no kids. Please advise, what should I do? The Cutie has some thoughts. Get her down Idaho says, divorce her, she's not happy with the arrangement. Another username 07 says, my ex also said sex was too painful. I ended up catching her in the house with another guy. Guess it wasn't painful after all. PD Porkchops thinks, leave. You attributed it to her disorder, but maybe she's just a cheater. Definitely do not bring kids into this. That'll just make leading so much harder and always give her leverage over you, especially if she decides to go nuclear. She'd rather cheat and sext others than fix the dead bedroom with you. You can do better than this. Don't waste 5 more years. Well, she's obviously having sex with other people. You need to address this with her. Bring it up. Tell her exactly what you saw and how you're feeling. Unfortunately, her mental illness is getting in the way here. This can be a really difficult thing to navigate around if it's not properly treated. Maybe see if you can talk to her therapist. Let her therapist know you're concerned as well, and go from there. What do you think? Give OP some of your advice in the comments below. Our last OP is blinded by the booty. Love bombed by a mother with an infant. Wild story. Met this girl who seemed so nice, smiley, caring, and of course, incredibly beautiful and sexy. Had me sweating when I met her, and I don't usually get intimidated like that. We hit it off right away. We initially met for casual, but it felt like more was there. Very electric feeling and chemistry was intense. So we both said, let's date for real. I knew she had a kid, who was in fact 8 months old. I'm 39, she's 29. Looking at her, my mind was thinking, wow, but that's what she looks like that soon after having a kid? This is a keeper. We ended up hanging out twice a week, different nights the next. And from that point on, every weekend we'd spend 3 to 4 days together. After a month, she would bring the child with her because it would cost her $150 to $200 each night. She would sleep over, and she's on maternity leave and doesn't make money, and the baby daddy gives her little to nothing. I didn't mind. I have a fairly large house, and when she brought her child over the first night to sleep over, she put her down on some blankets on the floor. The next weekend, I Amazoned a crib and camera and put it in a spare bedroom. She cried, really touched. We spent a lot of time talking, and I asked her a lot of questions about her situation to get a sense of how this came to be. She was married to a guy for 6, together for 9, who didn't treat her well, wouldn't let her work or have a dog, and wanted a child, but she didn't. When they finally did try, he couldn't. She left him. He thought she was cheating on him anyways. He was controlling you, she'd say. So she is single, starts playing the field, and boom, gets pregnant with some drug dealer, gangster a few months later. Sometime along her pregnancy, he told her he had 5 other kids, all under the age of 3. She kept the kid anyways. At some point, this drug dealer guy beat the crap out of her for speaking to other guys after she had given the baby. He really went at her hard, as she would often go on about how her ex-husband and her built a great life. They made a bunch of money, but because of the marriage situation and him divorcing, she is left with not much at all, but a small settlement. Particularly because of the baby, with understandably. The ex-husband does not want to support. All in all, a sad situation. Of course, this drama is clear and rear view. How it all happens was by me asking questions, caring, and of course being a white knight. Finding a damsel in distress. The sex was incredible. She was a clitter 9 or 10 physically. Fake boobs, butt injections, not necessarily in my opinion, but gotta say, looked really nice or behind. And awesome style. Fell for her. She had me come to her baby's church ceremony thing, photos of pumpkin patches with the kid. The child was starting to stay at my house when we'd hang out after a month 1. Month 2, we were official and things moved fast. She'd asked me if eventually we'd have kids, would I treat this girl as my own? And I thought about it, and I would have. She would say that if she wasn't serious, she wouldn't bring her child around like this. She wouldn't mention these things. She's a mother. I quickly became a stepdad in training. We went on vacation to Mexico in the last week of the second month. She had her mom come from Vancouver to babysit the child so we could go. We had a blast. It was really amazing. We got so close. It was something else. Such fire, such a beautiful time. We really fell for each other. However, last day there, she's in the shower and we would often use each other's iPhone. We had our codes. She gets a text. "Hey babe, how's vacation?" I read up and it was clear they were more than friends, and in the end, she admitted he came over a week before we left and sexual stuff happened. No penetration, but whatever. Cheated for sure. Misled for sure. And put on a fake face all week and could have had me cancel the trip if she had any integrity. I was shocked. Floored. Didn't see that coming at all. Her own parents were calling me daddy to this child in the last days of this vacation, wherein we'd FaceTime. She herself would so often tell me and show me how much she cared with gifts, acts of service, and plans for the future. And I know that there's so much we did that undeniably was amazing. If her goal was just to use me, in my opinion, she was doing way too much. There's no way she wasn't falling for me in a way, but I realize that people can compartmentalize way better than I can. People still think they can have it all. What hurt the most is that photos of the child at this church ceremony in Pumpkin Patch I went to with them were sent to this guy. Of course, the photos that I wasn't in. Apparently, this is a fling from right before we met that she said she cut off when I said I cut off my hookups, and we agreed to be exclusive. When I discovered this stuff, her father eventually called me to see if there was any way I would take her back. That she's insecure, which she really needs is someone to set her straight and stuff. Not sure, but was getting a vibe like he wanted me to hit her to let her know who's boss. Not happening anyways. Can't set that straight. That's a betrayal of a person with a very low moral compass and very high ability to manipulate and lie without being detected. Anyhow, super hurt. I wrote her a final letter making her realize how deceitful that all was and that I feel like I'm on Jerry Springer and haven't said a word since that all. She sent me letters, edible arrangements, and a month later called me, but I did not respond or pick up as hard as that has been. I know this is the right thing to do, but I felt like I was truly in love, but with who she pretended to be. So surprised that she could be that fake, especially with an infant in the mix, but also not surprised because of everything above. For anyone reading this and going through similar, yes, they cheated on you, but karma doesn't miss. The community has some thoughts. Nice evening 3051. Really, man? Drug dealer baby? That's the biggest red flag if I ever seen one. Gemino Ramup Salon says, dang, she was just looking for a meal ticket the whole time. Prophet Glutton says, guarantee she lied about the ex-husband. He was probably not even a third of the negative things she described. And I'm almost willing to bet she cheated on him with the drug dealer. He found out and gave her the boot. People like her don't change. They cheat for the thrill. I don't know if you were actually in love with her. Maybe you were just enamored by the physicality of it all. Maybe let your penis do the talking. There's a huge difference between lust and love. This chick was definitely just looking for a free ride. Trip to Mexico? Hell yeah. And having sex with whoever, whenever, definitely. She played you, OP. Sorry. And to set someone straight? Yeah, right. More like he was looking for someone for his daughter to walk all over. You probably treated her better than anyone she ever had. Too bad she effed it up. Thoughts? Thank you for joining us today on Our Space. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We'd hate for you to miss out. Oh, and if you want to listen to more stories from me, check out our lounge where I feature a larger variety of non-cheating related stories. See you there.